Ship a fix, your coworker reloads and still sees the bug. You hard refresh and it disappears. The response shows cache control with max age 300, smaxage 30, stale-while-revalidate 120. In the next few minutes, we'll figure out which cache lied to you. There are two independent caches you care about: the browser cache on the viewer's device and a shared cache at the edge, like a CDN or reverse proxy. Cache control tells caches whether they can reuse a response without revalidation and for how long. It doesn't push new content. It governs reuse. Think about two separate behaviors. The browser cache is per user, per device, and follows max age. No cache, must revalidate, and stale-while-revalidate where supported. The CDN or shared cache is for everyone and follows max age unless smaxage overrides it. Age is added by caches and means this response has been sitting here for n seconds since it was generated or last validated. Browsers usually don't expose their local cache age with an age header. CDNs often do. Max age applies to any cache unless something overrides it. Smaxage overrides for shared caches. Browsers ignore it. Must revalidate means that after the freshness window you're supposed to revalidate before reuse. It does not force checks during max age, and real intermediaries vary. Stale-while-revalidate means a cache may serve a stale response for the stated seconds after max age while it fetches fresh in the background, if it implements that directive. Read cache control in plain language. You may reuse this for max age equals n seconds without checking. If you're a shared cache, use smaxage equals m instead. After that window, must revalidate. Once freshness expires, revalidate before reuse, if the intermediary enforces it. If you support it, you may serve stale for stale-while-revalidate equals k seconds beyond max age while you fetch fresh in the background. And no cache means you may store it, but you must revalidate before reuse. Here's how the browser and CDN interplay with cache control. With max age 300 and smaxage 30, a CDN might keep an object fresh for 30 seconds, while browsers keep it fresh for 300. If the CDN revalidates at 31 seconds and gets new content, browsers that cache the old response can still reuse it for up to 300 seconds unless told otherwise. Stale-while-revalidate makes user experience smoother but can mask a brief deploy because a cache may serve stale during the background refresh if it implements SWR. Must revalidate kicks in only after freshness ends. It's the intent, but not all intermediaries honor it. Picture the flow. Browser cache to CDN or edge to origin with cache control, age, and validators flowing back down. Let's walk through a quick curl probe. First, run curl-i on the URL to see cache control, age, and any CDN hints. Curl bypasses your browser cache entirely, so you're inspecting the network. Then send curl-i with an added header, cache control, no cache, to ask caches to revalidate before reuse. Some may still behave differently, so you're probing real behavior. After waiting past max age or smaxage, run curl-i again and watch whether age resets or a header like CF cache status shows a revalidation. To spot stale-while-revalidate in action, prime the cache with curl-i, then hit it again immediately. If the cache supports SWR, you might see one stale serve while it refreshes in the background, then a fresh one. Common traps. No cache does not mean no storage. It means revalidate before reuse. Age reflects how long the cached response has lived. Browsers usually don't emit it. CDNs often do. Smaxage overrides max age for shared caches. Browsers ignore it. Stale-while-revalidate may show old content while fetching new, if the cache implements it. Must revalidate applies after expiry. Honoring it varies. Don't assume it prevents all stale serves. For private content, cache control. Private stops shared caches, but browsers still cache unless you say no store or use a short max age. Practical patterns I ship. HTML or doc pages often get a short max age or no cache plus validators like ETag or last modified so revalidation is quick. Fingerprinted static assets like app.abc123.js get very long max age equals 315-36000 with immutable where supported, relying on the file name change to update. Sensitive responses often use no store and sometimes private to avoid unintended caching. Where this model breaks, Service workers, app caches, or heavy SPA bundling can short-circuit normal HTTP cache semantics. Multiple CDNs or layered proxies can add hops where directives or enforcement differ. Quick recap. Identify which cache answered. Look at age, VIA or CF cache status, and whether a CDN sits in front. Read cache control fully. Max age, smaxage, no cache, must revalidate, stale-while-revalidate. Probe with curl-i plus an optional cache control. No cache to force revalidation. When debugging deploys, log the URL, time, status, cache control, age, validators like ETag or last modified, and any CDN hints. Keep claims modest. This behavior is typical, not guaranteed across CDNs and browsers.